What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I posted, and honestly guys, I've been waiting for this exact moment that we see on this Bitcoin chart right in front of us. Yes, we have set a new high and surpassed $60,000 in my last video. We covered how we were pretty much going to capitulate in the upwards direction. That's exactly what this line I drew in here for, actually predicting the price action of Bitcoin. And it just so happened that it followed this line almost exactly. The whole idea behind this was that we were going to go sideways, capitulate a little bit, set some higher highs or lower lows across all the blockchain players, including Bitcoin. And so that's exactly what ended up happening. I'm super stoked. And not only that, guys, we predicted the date that this was going to happen almost perfectly. So as you guys can see, and you can go back in the previous video and check out that this line was here before like this price action even occurred. We set the date, we said March 14th, March 13th, and that's exactly what happened. Today is a Saturday and we broke 60K. We climbed 4K in the matter of just hours. And so I'm super stoked to see this. This means a lot for all our blockchain players. And after seeing a brutal like last couple of weeks, guys, I think we're about to make a comeback, a huge comeback. Yes, last week was very profitable. We definitely, if you were buying the dip, then you definitely would have made money. But I definitely think there's so much more room for growth in a lot of these charts. I said it at $9. I'm going to say it's $60. I'm going to say it at $100. There's so much room for growth, especially the market cap of all of these blockchain players is so tiny that it's only going to take a little bit of capital to drive these prices sky high. And so I'm super excited. In this video, I want to set some price targets, probably what we're going to see next week. Talk to you guys some price action, just give you some of my thoughts. Again, in last week's video, I pretty much said that we're going to capitulate. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly how I set my plays up. As the last 2 weeks progressed, I was basically looking for a good line of support. And so after a huge run up and pullback, generally what tends to happen is that we establish some sort of line of support. And so that is what we pretty much saw on the charts. I'm going to go ahead, take you through each of the charts, show you that line of support, where a good buying price would still be. Obviously, we aren't going to get buying prices as low as what we saw last week, but there definitely still is a buying opportunity. I still am buying, although the bulk of my shares, the bulk of my option contracts were bought last week, Monday, when Mara dipped to $28. That was a solid buy. And the reason I was able to so confidently pick it up at that price is because, again, in last week's video, we talked about the correlation between Bitcoin and these blockchain players. And when they have a positive correlation, that's a good sign of upwards bullish momentum, okay? And then when it has a negative correlation, it's a very good sign of pretty much either buying or selling. Okay, so by that I mean when Bitcoin is taking off as it was last week, and Mara, RIOT, XNET, SOS are all tanking, to you, that should be a very good indicator of buying. And so that's what I saw. That's why I bought very confidently at those levels. And so now we are sitting at close to about a $40 Mara. I will go ahead and jump into the charts in just a second. I will go ahead and also take you through my portfolio in a different video. I will be posting more consistently now that we have reached that 60K price target. That's really all I was waiting for, because other than just pretty much surviving the volatility of these last couple of weeks, there was really not much price action to be covering. But I think as we move forward, as we hit that 60K mark, and I've said it at every 10K multiple, I said it at 50K, 40K, 30K, every time we hit this multiple of 10s, it's this huge psychological stimulus, and we see it reflected in the price action of all these blockchain players. So it's no different for 60K. If we do stay above 60K by the time the market opens on Monday, I firmly believe that we're going to see some pretty big crazy run up. So guys, just strap in, buckle up. Hopefully you guys have bought the dip already, like last week, these last couple of days. They were pretty brutal, but hey, if you can survive the bloody red days, I've said it so many times, you definitely get rewarded, okay? It takes patience. It takes a little while to see the results of all your hard work and patience play out. But ultimately, it is super rewarding. Just 2-3 weeks ago, I was down over 150,000, okay? Now, that's a lot of money for anyone to lose. I was definitely bummed at that, even though I took profits at the highs. No matter how good of a trader you are, you will always lose something, okay? In my case, I lost that much across all my portfolios, but it didn't faze me because I was so confident, so bullish on Bitcoin and just the whole fundamental aspect behind the growth of these companies. And when you have that conviction, it's very easy to convince yourself that, hey, these stocks are going to do good no matter what. As long as I, as a trader, can survive the volatility, then there's money to be made here. So really, it's just a whole psychological game. When you see things tank, are you panicking selling? Are you buying when it, shoots up like 30-40% in a day, or are you patiently waiting for the dips? Are you patiently waiting for those run up? That's what we've been doing for this last couple of weeks. We've been patiently waiting for the run up. Yes, we did have some pretty significant price action last week, but again, nowhere is near to what we're going to see in the coming next few days, maybe next few weeks. 60K, huge milestone for Bitcoin. Pretty obvious that it's a new high here. Definitely do think that we can hit 100K so easily well before the end of this year. I'm saying mid of this year, but we'll have to wait and see based on the price action that Bitcoin is gonna go through over the next couple of days. So we will basically come back to this chart, hopefully find some new levels of support. As long as we can stay above $56,000 and not break below that, then we are in a very bullish upward trend. So now let's go ahead and dive into the charts. I do want to show you guys all the stocks that I'm involved in. So every single one down this list except for NCTY and HUT8. So these are the only two that I have played in the past, but I kind of missed the dip here, so I didn't even bother. And again, I'm involved in every single one of these, so there's really no need for me to spread myself out too much across all the blockchain players here. All I want to do is set some upside price targets. There was not going to be too much more downside, but again, if it does dip significantly, any of these stocks, okay, so for example, SANP was down, okay, it was down almost 30 to 40% when Bitcoin was absolutely taking off. And even last week I said, if this dips below 1 cent, it's a very, very strong buy in my opinion. So if you bought it at 9 cents, 8 cents, 7 cents, even as low as 4 cents at one point. And actually, this is not even 4 cents, excuse me. This is 4/10 of a cent. I apologize for messing that up. But basically, if you're buying below that, then you were fine. It's going to pretty much moon again, and then it's going to come back down. And, we just keep on playing the cycle over and over and over. And the reason these things fluctuate so violently is because, again, small market cap stocks, $56 million, $57 million market cap. That's super tiny. It only takes a couple of large investors to come in, drive the price sky high. And it only takes a couple of smart investors to make money off these waves. Okay. And so that's what I'm here to pretty much help you guys do. It's what I do, guys. And these are the numbers I play by. The numbers I tell you guys aren't bullshit numbers. They're literally the numbers I use to make money. I also lose, okay? So I'm not perfect at this, but 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty confident in my numbers and the price action that I predict that's going to happen. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. We'll start off with Argo blockchain. Okay, this one's pretty obvious, guys. This one is printing a bull flag. This one's just gonna pop off on Monday. I don't think there's really much of a buying opportunity left for this one, unless it comes back down to this level it's at currently right now. So 350, anywhere below $3.50. That would be, in my opinion, a strong buy. I don't think it's gonna come back down to those levels for quite some time at least, and I do think we're just gonna moon. I don't want to set even an upwards price limit for this or a price target. I definitely do think it's going to break the all-time high it's set just a couple weeks ago. So definitely going to be well above 460, probably closer to about 550 in my opinion, maybe $7. So there's not much historical data to go off here, so I can't really do too much technical analysis on this. But basically, it's printing a pretty basic bull flag here, and I do think it's going to break out to the upside on Monday. Let's move on to Mara. All right, so Mara, let me go ahead and zoom out real quick. So you guys know that I do love playing the pitchfork channel, and what that basically means is that these lines right here are very strong lines of support and resistance, and generally an average path that it likes to follow. So, if it goes too far away from this path, it generally pulls back up into it, and if it goes too far above it, then it generally tends to pull down back into it. And so that is what we're going to be looking for over the next couple of weeks. So as you guys can see, this is almost kind of looking like a double bottom pattern where we have bottom 1, bottom 2 here, and this is a very important line right here that it faced twice now. And so the first time it acted as a line of resistance, the second time it's going to use as a line of support, especially because Bitcoin is now, it's taking off. So what does that basically mean? It means that Mara is going to take off pretty much. So where is it going to take off to? I'm predicting about $52. So we didn't quite reach this upper price target last run up, but I definitely do think that we're going to break it this time. Okay, hopefully we can actually close into this pitchfork channel, and that'll be nice. And I think we'll stabilize around $51, $52, so around there. So anywhere in between $40 and about $52. I know that's a super big range there, but I definitely do think we're gonna close that gap pretty quickly. And I think my buying point for Mara, I'm not buying anymore. The majority of my buying was done last week, pretty much, on this dip, on all the dips that I could catch well below this $33 I took. And so that was pretty much my buying price target and that I set in my last video. And so I stuck to that. I bought it. I don't think we're going to be coming back down to these levels. If we do, I'm definitely picking up more. But for right now, my new buying price would be really just below $40. So so anywhere between $40 to about $33, I would say, in my opinion, is a very, very strong buy. I would definitely buy it and wait for the run up to about $52. So not much else to say for this chart, except, pretty much expect a run up. Really, all these stocks, just expect a run up. But, as to where you want to start buying in, if you haven't already, then that's a little bit more of a trickier question, especially because it's hard to say, because now we are in a run up territory. Like the bulls are controlling the market here pretty obviously. So you basically don't want to buy because of FOMO. If this thing runs up to $52, I definitely would not buy at those levels. Simply because that's too high of a price. That's my upwards price target, and that's really a selling price for me. So, once it starts getting to these levels, at that point, I would consider that pretty hyped. But, considering the state of this market and how, how many retail traders are participating in these, hype stocks, it really is just so difficult to say like where the tops of these charts are. So this thing can totally moon to well over $100 before even coming back down. So I definitely don't want to set an upper price target, but I definitely am expecting a price closer to $52. All right, so moving on to Riot blockchain. Okay, so this chart, very, very similar pattern. You'll notice a lot of these charts have very similar patterns, and that pattern is the double bottom pattern. And so as you guys can see, bottom one, bottom two. And so generally how these tend to play out is to the upside. So this middle part of the W right here, if I were to draw a line here, this is usually a very important line of resistance that usually acts as a line of support once it's broken in. And I can definitely see that happening in the chart of Riot. So I wouldn't be surprised if it pulled back down to about $56. But again, given the price action of Bitcoin, I highly doubt it's likely. So my buying price target for Riot right now would be anywhere below $56. But again, if it doesn't go below that, then I definitely won't be buying. I'm definitely not buying at $62 or really anywhere above it. So in terms of upside price target, I definitely think that we can at least break this, this 52-week all-time high at around $84. So if we do come close to that, I definitely would pretty much just hold on, not sell just yet, because I definitely think there's going to be a lot of hype driving this stock up. And I will pretty much keep you guys updated on where a good sellout price will be based on volatility, hype, etc. But for the most part, I just am going to wait and ride this out till about $84. Maybe even a little less around. I'm going to keep it conservative right here and say about $75, because this was a significant area of like capitulation before it kind of really just tanked. All right, so that's pretty much it for this stock. I know I'm not really giving too much in-depth analysis. I really just want to set price targets, some good buying points, and what I'm going to be personally doing and waiting for. A majority of these plays that I take is just really, I set it and I forget it. So I set up my plays. I give myself the advantage of time value. So what that basically means is I buy as far out in the day as possible. So I'll buy option contracts for pretty much June or the end of this year. So maybe January 2022, I'll be picking up contracts. Yes, they're very expensive, but they're definitely, in my opinion, they're definitely safer and more chance of profiting. Now, that is just what I do, and it totally just depends on the size of your portfolio, the size of your account, and how aggressive you want to be. If you want to be more aggressive, then sure, go for those shorter term expiration dates, the ones that are further out of the money, cheaper to buy. So let's move on to XNET now. Now, from a technical perspective, this chart is one of my favorites. Why? Because it's so undervalued. When Bitcoin was absolutely taking off last week, XNET was just kind of stagnant around here. You can even see it even dipped. And it kind of took off, but nowhere really as much as RIOT and Mara did. Really, just anywhere below 850 would be a good buying price. So right now it's at 750. I'm still definitely picking up lots of XNET shares, lots of XNET contracts. I definitely do think we're going to see a pretty darn big run up in this stock, as well as SOS. I'll get to that in just a second. But in my opinion, right now, XNET strong buy. I definitely am buying. In terms of upside price target, I think that this stock is absolutely going to moon. And so by that, I just mean it's probably going to maybe $16. I don't even want to put an upside price target to this because I definitely do think there's so much room for growth here. Again, smaller market cap means more room to grow, especially given the fundamentals of this company, this stock. I definitely do think that we can at least close above $12 by the end of this week. That definitely is very optimistic, so take it with a grain of salt, but that is personally what I'm looking for. I'll be very excited if that happens. Even if it doesn't, I still think at least within the next couple of weeks we can definitely close above $12 and then above 16 and so on and so forth. All right, Overstock. This stock is another one of my personal favorites. I feel like I'm saying that for every single one of these, but when I saw the stock pull back about 51%, this was definitely an opportunity for me to buy. I definitely was picking up shares. I still am picking up lots of option contracts and shares on this particular stock. Overstock, if you don't know, it's an upcoming retail giant in the home goods kind of section. So they're very niche, but what I really like about them is the fact that they're involved in blockchain. So they are developing blockchain infrastructure for other companies. This is super, super exciting. Please go do some research on this if you aren't already aware of this. This is super exciting stuff. I'm very, very invested in this company, in this stock, what they're doing. We can easily run up at least 2-3x from where we are right now. I'm pretty much positioning myself for that. It might take a while. It might take a year. It might take 6 months. I don't know. These markets are crazy. You can just really never tell. But right now, this pullback was a perfect opportunity to buy. I think really just under $75, $76 is a perfect opportunity to buy, perfect opportunity to probably double your money here. I'm definitely counting on it, certainly hoping on it. And I do think that Bitcoin is going to certainly help with that. So this whole Bitcoin run up is definitely going to help with the price action of course, Overstock and all these other blockchain companies that we're dealing with. So moving on to Canaan. Okay, so this stock is sketching me out just a little bit just because of how wild its price action was last week. It seems like it didn't even really pull back on the dip as much as really I would have liked to see. So I never really got a chance to pick up that many shares on the dip. And in fact, I was mainly selling this company last week. Now, I may be completely wrong about this. I definitely think with now Bitcoin closing above $60,000, I definitely think that this stock is probably going to moon along with the rest of the sector. So, I probably shouldn't have sold, but it was sketching me out because how much hype there was driving this stock. Now, this yellow line here represents a nice line of resistance. And so as you guys can see, it touched it twice here. If it dips below it, okay, or at least touches it one more time, I will be comfortable picking up shares at around $26, $25. Anywhere under that is a strong buy in my opinion. I do foresee a correction in the stock. However, it might not happen right now. It might not happen next week. It seems very hype, but at the same time, it also does have very, very good fundamentals. As you guys know, Joe Biden announced the whole semiconductor government contract. That definitely did, I think, help with keeping the stock afloat here. So it's not just blockchain that they're involved in. They're also involved in making supercomputers and very efficient and powerful chips, basically. And so I definitely do think that helped with the price action a lot here. So, if you are interested in buying this, what I'm personally waiting for is it to dip below $25. Keep in mind that just might not happen, but I'm going to be patient with this one. I'm not going to rush into anything. If there's one thing I learned, guys, is just never rush into any stock. Okay, you don't want to buy too high. You don't want to sell too early. Never rush. Be patient. Wait it out. See what happens if you're unsure about it. So this stock, I'm pretty unsure about it, and so I'm not going to buy immediately up here, even though I believe that it might just moon on Monday opening. But after that, when Bitcoin starts to pretty much slow down in momentum as it reaches probably 65K and then pulls back, I think that's when we're going to see its big correction. All right, NCTY. Now, this stock is looking pretty darn strong, at least from a technical perspective. But I do want to preface this by just saying that I'm no longer involved in the stock. I did sell out pretty early, around $66 around there, and I never got the dip. Okay, I was waiting for about this level right here, so around $25 and really below that. Never really dipped to that, and it established a nice line of support around $32. So I definitely don't think it's coming back down to $32, but if it does, again, strong buy in my opinion. But the more realistic buy in my opinion is below $52. And so the reason that is because, again, you guys can see this double bottom kind of W pattern playing out. These are very bullish patterns, and usually the bottom of this W is the strong line of support, and the top, or this middle part of the W, is usually the strong line of resistance. And so that's $52, and that's usually going to act as a line of support if it does decide to pull back just a little bit. So I don't think that we're going to see that pullback to about below $52. We might just straight up moon to about above the high actually of $88. It's very possible. These smaller market cap stocks, I'm going to say it again and again, they're so easy to pretty much just take off. We might see that sometime next week, again, all depending if Bitcoin stays above 60,000. All right, so HIVE blockchain, this stock is forming another bull flag, just very similar to Argo blockchain if we take a look at it right here. So it kind of had that little dip below this line of support that it formed, but I think ultimately this is going to break to the upside. And much like Argo blockchain, HIVE blockchain is going to do almost the exact same thing. It's going to break out, and just to kind of draw it in for you guys, I definitely do think it's going to close above this high that it said just a couple weeks ago. So above $5.70 is my upside price target for this. So really anywhere above that, we'll come back and reevaluate this chart, see where a good sellout point is. But for right now, I'm just patiently holding, patiently buying. And so for those of you who maybe want to buy this stock, in my personal opinion, I think a good buying point is below this line of support right here. So really anywhere below $3.80 is where I'll be comfortable buying. That is where I'm going to be personally buying as well. So anywhere below 380, I definitely bought this dip pretty heavily, and I think I have a pretty solid position on this. So I'm not really interested in adding too much more. I'm just going to wait for it to moon unless it dips pretty significantly, which is again highly unlikely, but if it does, I'm definitely going to be picking up more. All right, upside price target again, just to reiterate that, $5.70, if not more. All right, so HUT8 Mining Corp, I'm no longer involved in the stock, but again, this is all momentum based plays. For right now, I think really just any price below $10 would be a good buying point. I think it can come down as low as $9.50-ish. And then I think that will be more of a solid buy. And if it comes down significantly below that, that is where I'm going to be interested in buying. But for right now, I'm not in a rush to buy the stock, even though I'm pretty confident that it will take off. And so the upside price target, again, don't want to put a limit on this, but I definitely think we can see prices closer to the all-time highs it set just a couple weeks ago. All right, so SANP Mining Corp, SANP. Now this stock right here, I'll tell you guys right now, is my favorite blockchain stock simply because of how small of a market cap it has, how freaking sporadic and volatile it is. It makes a tremendously great day trading stock. And what I've been doing pretty much is I've been buying well below 1 cent and then just riding up the hype. So as you guys see, up 36%. So if you just go in with a couple $1,000s, it makes really just for really good day trades, in my opinion. I also am holding a large portion in shares for the long term, but it's also very, very fun to swing trade this. On Monday, I definitely think we can see some pretty insane price action with this. I'm definitely hoping it closes above this line right here. So that is about 1 5/10 of a cent, 1 5/6 of a cent. When it does, I'm going to consider taking profits there as a day trade, of course, and then wait for the dip again and then do it over and over and over pretty much. It's pretty hard to keep you guys updated on the smaller market cap stocks because of how volatile they are. But if you're holding this for the long term, just ignore all the volatility. The fundamentals of this company is also looking really good in my opinion. Yes, they don't have any revenue right now, but I do think that there is a lot of potential growth in this company. So again, to reiterate my price targets, a good buying point, at least in my opinion, to where I'm going to be buying well below 1 cent. The lower it goes, the more I buy. And then the upside price target for this is, of course, well above 3 cents. So I definitely think that this one's going to moon as well. I think maybe we can even reach $1 on the stock, which would be pretty darn crazy. But again, that's going to take some time. It's probably going to take a couple of maybe months here. So it's not going to happen anytime soon. But I definitely do think we can come close to the all-time high it just set a couple weeks ago. All right, moving on to SOS. This is the last stock we're going to cover, and also another one of my favorites, simply because of how strong the TA is looking. It's looking very bullish. As we went over so many of these charts, okay, we were looking at the double bottom pattern. So as you guys can see, it's pretty much printed the first left half of the W, this downfall right here, the spike back up, this downfall right here, and now I'm looking for that spike back up. It's obviously going to use this 860, 870 line, this kind of peak right here as resistance, but hopefully we can cross it, break it, and then shoot to new highs. As soon as it breaks this line right here, 870 is where it's going to take off. So really, in my opinion, any price below this is a strong buy, and I still am buying very, very heavily on SOS. It's a very good momentum-based play, in my opinion. This stock is, again, one of my favorites, and just in terms of momentum-based plays. Ride tomorrow, obviously my all-time favorites, but if you're looking for like a quick 2-3x, I would say that this stock, XNET, are certainly the stocks to be looking at. Monday morning, probably close above this 880, 870 line, around this area. Okay, I know these are lines, but it's just really areas of support and resistances. That's really what they are. As soon as it crosses this, I'm no longer going to be buying. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the ride pretty much. Wait for it to moon, take off to about again, the high of about 1650. It would be amazing if we broke the all-time highs on all these charts. So that is definitely what we're going to be looking for. You know, if it doesn't happen on this run-up, it's definitely happening on the next run-up. So when we hit 70K, okay, 80K, these are super, super exciting times, guys. I'm super pumped for all these stocks and all the plays that we set up over the last couple of months. So I do want to end this video off by saying what I said in the beginning of this video. As big as the run-up over the last just couple of days was across all these blockchain players, you know, we did recover pretty well. It's going to be nowhere as near crazy as to what we'll see in just a couple of weeks, maybe even days. So over the next few days, few weeks, it's going to be very, very exciting, very, very volatile. So strap in, guys, buckle up. This is going to be a wild, wild ride. I'm super pumped for this, as I said so many times. These last 2 weeks was a little foreshadowing to the insane volatility we will see moving forward. And guys, you just really have to have a strong stomach for this. And the best way to do that is just really familiarize yourself with the charts, okay? Know what to expect, because if you're expecting it, then you won't be surprised when it actually happens. Otherwise, you're just really just buying and selling on a whim. And trust me, guys, that's the best way to lose money. That's what I used to do in the past, and you know, I learned it the hard way. Also, guys, I know it hurts to see the portfolio down. I was well over, you know, I was down well over 150K just in like 2 weeks pretty much. But if you're buying the dip and you're sticking to your plan, then really, guys, it just takes 1 or 2 days like last week to make it all back and then some. So with that said, guys, hopefully this video helped you out in some way possible. If it did, please leave me a like on the video. Please drop me a comment. I'm always super excited to read the comments, see what you guys are thinking, and just let me know your thoughts on these charts, what your guys' price targets are, what you guys think is going to happen. I'm not always right, but I definitely want to hear what you guys are thinking. And with that said, guys, take care, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.